Hello, friends. Pakistan Foreign Minister Bilawal Bhutto Zardari has addressed the Pakistani occupied Jammu Kashmir Legislative Assembly today on 22nd of May 2023. However, his speech was full of distorted facts, disinformation, and half truths. Therefore, I have decided to reply to his lies and his disinformation and put the facts right. So, first of all, I would like you to listen to this clip of Bilawal Bhutto Zardari and then I will reply to this comment.
अब आप मुझे इजाज़त अगर देंगे मुझे अंग्रेज़ी में जो फॉरेन ऑफिस का स्टेटमेंट है और हमारा पॉलिसी है इस दिन के मौके पे वो आपके सामने रखता हूं.
So what Mr. Bilawal Bhutto Zardari is saying is that this is an official statement of the Foreign Office. So this is a state policy that he has been handed over by the state of Pakistan to read in the Legislative Assembly. It is not his own brainchild. He is simply a puppet who has been handed over the details of what he is expected of to say and to convey to the Pakistani occupied Jammu Kashmir Assembly and the wider world. Look at the next clip.
I am here today to express solidarity with you, solidarity with the people of Kashmir at this critical juncture.
So what is this critical juncture Bilawal Bhutto Zardari is referring to? This critical historical juncture is the fact that G20 summit sessions are being held in Srinagar right now as I am talking to you and as at the time he was addressing the POJK assembly. And this is historic for two reasons. Firstly, it is historic because it brings to my free land of Indian Union Territory of Jammu Kashmir a great window of opportunity for tourism. Last year we had record more than 10 million tourists visited Jammu Kashmir Indian Union Territory. This is a record over the past 75 years. And now with this G20 summit and special sessions on tourism, this figure of tourists visiting the state of Jammu Kashmir is going to quadruple. So for us, it is obviously a critical and historical juncture where we are looking forward towards a giant leap in our tourist industry. On the other hand, for Pakistan, it is a critical juncture as well because 20 countries are recognizing the fact that the state of Jammu Kashmir that Pakistan attacked on the 22nd of October 1947 is an integral part of the Republic of India because our king signed an instrument of accession with India on the 26th of October 1947. But he is not giving these facts to to those who are in audience at the POJK Legislative Assembly. Now look at this clip.
Mr. Speaker, Jammu and Kashmir dispute is the unfinished agenda of the partition of the subcontinent. The rights and aspirations of the Kashmiri people were trampled upon by machinations and intrigue. The territory of Azad, Jammu and Kashmir, where we congregate today, was liberated at the cost of enormous sweat and blood.
Bilawal Bhutto Zardari claims that the Jammu Kashmir dispute, he uses the word dispute, is an unfinished agenda of partition of the subcontinent in 1947, he means. Well, I don't look it as a dispute. It is not a dispute. It is a clear-cut case of occupation, of illegal occupation by Pakistan. By calling it a dispute, it seems as if he is trying to make the waters muddy regarding the instrument of accession that was signed between Maharaja Hari Singh and the last Governor General of Great Britain at the time, Lord Mountbatten, which was in accordance with the 560 other princely states that signed the same instrument of accession and gave birth to the Union of Republic of India. Okay, he says that the aspirations of the Kashmiris were trampled upon, etc., etc. Who trampled upon them? India did not trample upon them. Pakistan army, along with the mercenary tribal, they trample upon the aspirations of the Kashmiri people by attacking us, by invading us on the 22nd of October 1947. How can he say such a thing? This is called distortion of history. He is saying that India trampled upon the aspirations of Kashmiri people. India never trampled upon the aspirations of the Kashmiri people. India protected the aspirations of the Kashmiri people after 26th of October 1947 by sending in troops and pushing back the invading armies. He says that this part that he is present right now, the part of Azad Kashmir was liberated with the sweat and blood. Yes, he's right. The only thing he misses out is it was not liberated, it was occupied. It was already liberated. It was an independent state where Muhammad Ali Jinnah had signed an instrument of standstill agreement with the king of Jammu Kashmir, in which the Maharaja said that we are not willing at the moment to join Pakistan. So who then created the massacre? Pakistan. 100,000 Hindus and Sikhs. Even those Muslims who were trying to protect the Hindus and Muslims in Mirpur and Bhimber and Baramulla and Kotli were massacred by the Pakistan army. But he forgets to mention that. But that is the truth, that Pakistan ethnically cleansed these parts of Kashmir that are now called occupied Gilgit-Baltistan and Pakistani occupied Jammu Kashmir.
Mr. Speaker, history cannot be changed. Ironically, today, as India deviously tries to convince the world that Jammu and Kashmir is but an undisputed part of her territory,
he says India is deviously trying to convince the world that Jammu and Kashmir is an integral part of India. Oh, for God's sake, kid, wake up. Have you not read the instrument of accession of 26th of November 1947? How can you say that India is deceiving or deviating or fooling the world? It's you who's fooling the world and been fooling the world for the past 75 years, claiming that the people of Jammu and Kashmir want to accede to Pakistan. They never wanted and they never will accede to Pakistan. They became Indian citizens like 560 other princely states. Population became Indian citizens. We became Indian citizens on the 26th of October 1947 when our king signed an instrument of accession with the last Governor General of India, Lord Mountbatten. And I keep repeating this because this is a historical fact that cannot be denied.
I must emphasize here that the commitments under the UN Security Council resolutions are sacrosanct.
Well, I would like to emphasize that according to the United Nations Security Council resolutions, Pakistan and not India has been declared the aggressor. And it is Pakistan army, not the Indian army, that the United Nations Security Council resolution demands to withdraw from the occupied territories, along with the tribals, along with the aliens. And again, it is according to the United Nations resolutions that India was permitted to keep a minimum force of army for law and order and to prevent any further adventuristic jingoism and adventuristic invasion from Pakistan. This is the fact. They are all available on Google and you can go and check them. So Mr. Bilawal Bhutto Zardari is not only distorting facts, but he is even distorting the United Nations resolutions. And he should be made accountable for that by the United Nations. That how come he can freely, at being a foreign minister of a country, addressing the Legislative Assembly of Pakistan occupied Jammu Kashmir, how can he so freely change the content of a United Nations resolution?
Mr. Speaker, today an occupied Kashmir has become an open prison, a prison where Kashmiri Muslims are forced to breathe fear.
All right, two things here. Number one, he's saying Kashmir. Wait a minute. First of all, he's claiming that Indian Union Territory Jammu Kashmir has become an open prison, right? Well, it sounds funny that G20 countries have decided to hold a G20 summit meeting in a prison. First. The second, he's playing the communal card. He's using the word Muslim. He is using the word Muslim, and Pakistan always plays the communal card, divide the Indian community on religious basis. That was the basis of the foundation of Pakistan, and that is why it's now collapsing under the crisis of ethnic identity of the Baloch, the Pashtun, the Sindhis.
Occupying Indian forces run rampant with arbitrary detentions, torture, extrajudicial killings of Kashmiri Muslims.
He's talking about arbitrary detention and he's talking about extrajudicial killing. What name is he going to give to the murderer Arif Shahid, who was a leader, Kashmiri leader from Pakistani occupied Jammu Kashmir side, and he was killed in broad daylight outside his house in Rawalpindi 10 years ago? What is he going to call the murder of Dr. Ghulam Abbas, a Kashmiri from Pakistani occupied Jammu Kashmir living in Canada, who came back to attend the funeral of his father and was shot in the face and killed inside his house, on the doorstep of his house, by Pakistani Secret Service agency, only because he spoke about reunification of the state of Jammu and Kashmir, and for that he used to very vocally advocate for interfaith harmony. That is called extrajudicial killing. And what about the Kashmiri Pandits who were killed from September 1998 to 1990 January in Kashmir, before the Kashmiri Pandits were forced to flee in hundreds and thousands from the Srinagar Valley, from the Kashmir Valley? What would you call that? And that extrajudicial killing continues to this day of the Kashmiri Pandits. How many Kashmiri Muslims, intellectuals, doctors, engineers, or human rights activists have been extrajudicially killed in Jammu and Kashmir? None. None. Bukhari Sahab, who was a journalist was killed by the jihadis because he spoke against the Pakistani so-called Islamic Jihad. So he is hiding facts and he is distorting things. What he's trying to say here is that those terrorists who are killed in encounters of Hizbul Mujahideen, Lashkar-e-Taiba, Jaish-e-Mohammed, he is indirectly trying to say that those people were killed in extrajudicial killings, which is not true at all. They were killed during combat attacks on the Indian security forces, Indian military. All Pakistani government officials and military generals, they like to criticize India for the abrogation of the Article 370 and 35A. Now, it was after the abrogation of 370 and 35A on the 5th of August 2019 that the tide of terrorism started to turn for the better. Before that, every single day there were killings in Kashmir by the jihadis, sponsored by Pakistan. Pakistan Army's proxies were target killing people. They were paying people 500 rupees per child to throw stones at security forces. But after the abrogation of 370 and 35A, what happened? Where is terrorism? Where are the strikes that were forced upon the poor traders and shopkeepers? They were forced to close down their shops by the jihadis. But today, even if they call for a strike, nobody pulls down their shutter or shuts their shop. They trade as usual. So, on the other hand, if you look at Gilgit-Baltistan, if you look at Pakistani occupied Jammu Kashmir, people have no rights. The demography is being changed of Gilgit-Baltistan and POJK by bringing in Punjabis and Pashtuns, settlers. Land grab by the Pakistan Army. For 5 days, the people of Gilgit-Baltistan are questioning Pakistan's authority over Gilgit-Baltistan, and they are demanding from Pakistan to withdraw and leave them on their own as an independent entity to decide their own destiny. But he won't talk about that. Bilawal Bhutto is not going to talk about that because that is a fact. And Pakistan's foreign minister, Pakistan's army chief, Pakistan's prime minister, Pakistan's United Nations representative, they have all got PhD in spreading disinformation and presenting lies as absolute truths.
How can the world be a silent bystander when a large country usurps the rights guaranteed by the Security Council and instead use brute force to suppress those rights? Isn't it the same world that is upholding these principles elsewhere while remaining completely oblivious to them in Kashmir?
Exactly. How can the world remain quiet, remain silent, and look the other way? When we, people of Pakistani occupied Jammu Kashmir and people of Gilgit-Baltistan have been occupied illegally.
Country usurps the rights
And usurps our rights.
guaranteed by the Security Council.
All the subsidies that were given to us by the United Nations for Gilgit-Baltistan and for POJK have been curtailed, have been cut. And that is what has caused protests for the last 4 years now in both territories. They are demanding that what is our legitimate right, the subsidies guaranteed by United Nations, should be reinstated because that is our right. If Bilawal Bhutto Zardari, if he thinks that we are disputed land, then that disputed land's rights are protected by the United Nations. How he gives a spin. You see, he gives a spin to the whole thing.
India's facade of normalcy in Kashmir is met by the harsh reality that occupied Kashmir remains one of the most militarized zones on the planet.
He talks about normalcy in Indian Jammu Kashmir, and he talks about large presence of armed forces uh, to make that happen, which is again a lie. The fact of the matter is that there are 13 brigades of Pakistan army dotted around Pakistani occupied Jammu Kashmir. Every 25 Gilgit Baltistan people are watched by or controlled by one army. That's the ratio, 25 to 1 in Gilgit Baltistan. 25 people to one army personnel. Every single place in POJK, we have got our military checkposts where we have to prove why we are coming in or going out of Kashmir. We have to present our documents, our papers, like in Nazi Germany. We are not Jews, mate. We are not Jews. We are the citizens of Pakistani occupied Jammu Kashmir and occupied Gilgit Baltistan, on which you have put the military boot on our land, and you are claiming that in Indian Union territory of Jammu Kashmir, normalcy is because of the presence of the army.
People of Pakistan and the people of Kashmir have a unique affinity based on geographical proximity, shared history, commonality of religion. We have shared joys, shared sorrows, we share the same hopes, the same dreams, our hearts beat as one.
Unique affinity, he is talking about a unique affinity between the occupied people of Pakistani occupied Jammu Kashmir and occupied Gilgit Baltistan and Pakistan. What a farce, what a lie. He says we have shared history. No, we have no shared history. Our history, the history of the people of POJK and Gilgit Baltistan, is the history of fighting against Pakistan occupation and Pakistan oppression. How can it be a shared history? Then again he says commonality of religion. He again plays a religious card. But I'll prove you wrong. There is no commonality of religion between us and Pakistan. Pakistan is a Sunni Islamic state based on the Wahhabi doctrine. Gilgit Baltistan is a Shia majority territory. Jammu is a Hindu majority territory and Sikh. Ladakh is a Buddhist and Shia majority territory. So again he's trying to lie, and he's trying to create a concept, a fake idea that there is commonality of religion. There is no commonality of religion. And he says same hopes. Well, you hope to carry on plundering our lands, our minerals, our waters, our forests, and our power of labor. And we hope to get rid of you and be masters of our own lands. So that is not same hopes and same dreams. We dream of the day when we get rid of you, and you dream of the day when you can incorporate Srinagar and Jammu and Ladakh in your dirty designs and do the same plundering, the same looting, the same denial of human rights, the same denial of civic rights, the same denial of political rights, the same denial of economic rights that we suffer. You want to make them you want to bring them under this umbrella of oppression? How can we have the same dreams? No, we don't share anything, and our hearts don't beat as one. They never will. How can an oppressor and an oppressed heart beat as one? One's desire is to keep its oppressed control over the population. The other is to get rid of this oppressor and free themselves. How can they beat us one?
Mr. Speaker, India has also been trying to use the terrorism bogeyman to mask the indigenous Kashmiri struggle for their legitimate rights to self-determination.
How dare you say that India is using the terrorism as a bogeyman? What terrorist activity has India conducted in POJK or POGB or inside Pakistan territory, or even for that matter inside Srinagar, Ladakh or Jammu? None. None. Pakistan is a safe haven not only for terrorists but murderers, money launderers. And it is Pakistan who has got the proxies of Jaish-e-Mohammed, Lashkar-e-Taiba, Hizbul Mujahideen, and this Jambaz force, and all of them. And you have the cheek to say this to India, that it is India who is using terrorism? You are using terrorism. Pakistan is the biggest obstacle towards regional peace because of its harboring of terrorists and using terrorism as its foreign policy proxy.
There is a clear distinction between terrorism and a people's genuine quest for freedom. Justice delayed is justice denied.
Yeah, and finally, I agree when Bhutto Zardari says justice delayed is justice denied. But the question is, justice for whom? Justice for us. Justice denied for the people of POJK. Justice delayed for the people of POJK. Justice denied for the people of Gilgit-Baltistan. Is justice because of justice being delayed. So we are the ones who suffer from justice delayed as justice denied. And I hope the world will wake up to the lies spread by Pakistani foreign minister on my territory in Pakistani occupied Jammu and Kashmir. Thanks for watching.